One of the main additions in Season 15 was Hero Perks, a huge game-changing mechanic that makes the game overall a lot more chaotic than before, but in a fun way.
Perks!
Now, other than being just a breath of fresh air in a game that was almost on its dying breath, how have perks impacted the game on a bigger scale than just switching up a few things here and there? According to the devs, counter-swapping is down by 25%, which is great because it means we're not constantly playing rock, paper, scissors in our FPS game, but how has it affected the meta? I'm not saying that it's the be-all and end-all because you can definitely play off-meta and still win. I mean, look at how far Miku Fan Club got in OWCS by doing exactly that, but I think it's an important thing to look at because it's what people are generally playing, so you kinda need to know what's going on. So at the minute there is no definitive one meta, which I'm not going to complain about because it means every match is fairly different. Obviously people are still playing Hazard in this Brawl comp, but ever since what people have been calling Builder meta was introduced to counter him, people have been playing Bull, Sim and Torb a lot more because they've realised how strong they actually are, and perks only heighten this. Take Bull for example. Pack Rat is great because it means you can play a lot more by yourself and be even more annoying in the enemy backline and running rampant all around because you're constantly regaining a lot of health from health packs, ultimately being even more self-sustainable than you already were. This kind of mindset, I don't really know what word to use here. Anyway, this applies to the other metas too, because perks have generally made all of the heroes stronger. Sure, there are some perks that are outright stupid, like whether you want 15 more bullets in your mag or 50 more charge on your railgun for Sojourn. I think it's pretty obvious which one you should take, but overall it's made the hero stronger, and that's where problems start creeping in here and there. In this example we're going to be looking at Mauga, everyone's favourite problem child, because his perks are a bit, stupid, I suppose you could say. I want to focus on the Overrun build where you regain 150 ammo whilst in Overrun and it ignites enemies that you run over. Because of these two perks synergizing really well, it's extremely rare that you'll ever lose a team fight because, might I remind you, enemies that are ignited by Mauga immediately get crit by him. Which, in this case, it also applies to Stomp in Overrun. You can see where this is going. Mauga now has essentially a one-shot method because his damage output is stupidly high thanks to this perk, which means more people are starting to gravitate back towards him. We're in a Stockholm Syndrome kind of situation. We've essentially gone from one shit meta to another shit meta because it's just not fun for anyone. As someone who's trying to get back into playing tank, yes, I am a masochist. This sucks because I want to play other tanks, but if I see an enemy Mauga, I'm kinda shoehorned into either letting my team get railed and ultimately losing the match, or swapping to Mauga myself to essentially match his freak. Thank God this won't be a problem for too much longer because hero bans are coming out next season. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about counter-swapping because I didn't really properly dive into it when I mentioned that counter-swapping is down by 25% at the start of the video. 25% isn't really a surprising amount. We knew this would happen because people would realize that you can make your hero work with perks if you build it properly, meaning you'll never really have to switch unless it's absolutely necessary, like if the enemy tank insta-locks Mauga and you're just not prepared for that. Unfortunately, counter-swapping has become such a core part and kind of a staple of this game because some heroes are just outright better against others, meaning perks ultimately don't change anything. There's a reason why metas exist, and that's because these heroes are considered the best of the best in any scenario. But that just about does it for this video. So, in short, perks are an interesting addition to Overwatch that have definitely changed up the flow of the game and made it a bit more interesting, but ultimately, they're kind of pointless. It hasn't flat out fixed counter-swapping, but alleviated it, which is good enough because A, you can't really fix counter-swapping until hero bans are implemented, and B, it's better than nothing. In terms of the meta, it's all over the place at the minute because rather than meta heroes, we have meta comps. These being the Bull Dive, Hazard Brawl, and whatever the fuck Mauga is. Pain in the ass comp, let's just call it that. Thankfully, perks somewhat allow us to play off meta and still win, but if you were good at the game before perks were introduced, then you'll already be doing this in the first place. Playing meta is a scam, just play whatever you're good at playing and you'll see yourself winning because you're comfortable on that hero. It is that easy. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm gonna ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video as it lets me know that you've enjoyed it and want to see more. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure you check out some of my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.